Yeah, first of all, thank you for joining today's call. And yeah, I would like just to ask you, like, if you'd like to introduce yourself, of course, and how does your say EV platform works?
Yeah, nice to meet you. So founder, CEO of Ivy. Ivy is an in-vehicle experience software running in ride-hail, black car, and taxis. We're helping passengers make the most of their time in transit. We rolled out an advertising platform called Ivy Ads, and we spent the past 2 years monetizing it primarily with national brand advertisers. And we reached out to Sync Agency to help us figure out how to go to the mid-market enterprises, those making around $10 to $250 million a year in revenue.
So what was your biggest challenge getting companies to try right advertising before starting working with us?
Status quo and time. You know, when you sell to enterprises, especially large enterprises, getting them to move from what they're already doing and behavioral change is difficult. And then the other thing is time. Big companies move at very slow paces, so closing cycles were 12 to 18 months. What we were looking for with the mid-market was how to increase the amount of companies we can go after, but decrease the time it takes. And in order to do those two things, we needed an expert. We needed expertise, and we needed resources to help us do that.
What made you decide to work with Sync Agency instead of like other, say, agencies or?
Professionalism and trust. We interviewed a few agencies similar to Sync, and something was just not exactly right with the other companies we looked at. They were a little bit fast on the process with missing details when we went through and tried to understand really their processes. It felt a little bit more like a factory versus like a really strong agency or professionalism. What we found with Sync was like a lot of trust, a lot of professionalism, a lot of dedication to their craft, and that was the difference maker.
For me, like our success is due to really good communication and like we act fast, right? But
some of the things that I found really valuable in communication is tell me what to think. I'm a busy founder CEO. I've had other exits before. I'm looking for experts, right? People that will tell us this is the right way, this is what you need to do. And the onboarding was these are the best practices. I just need you to take these particular steps. Great. If we ever fell behind, and sometimes we did, Sync would be there to hold our hands and also propose solutions. So it wasn't like we just got homework. They were very proactive, right? I generated this email template. What do you think? That's a lot easier for us than having to draft something from nothing. So that was at the beginning. The second part of communication was when things got difficult, things weren't working, and these happen. I always look at like, are vendors going to solve the problem or are they going to run away? And Sync made a massive difference here. There was an issue with a vendor that they were using, and we weren't getting results. That didn't stop them. And found solutions, communicated the whole way through with transparency. That's really rare to find, right? Most agencies will blame someone else or go distant or go quiet. That wasn't the case. And then the third thing around communication is now that things are running really well, you know, we're looking at ways to optimize, and Sync is giving us feedback and different ways to change some of our angles, always holding our hands with weekly meetings and a lot of Slack messaging back and forth.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I will never forget this. This summer actually was really, I'd say, crazy in terms of calls. So my agency had a track record, which was we generated, of course, a lot of interested replies, I would say, but like during the 3 months, we generated like 60 qualified sales calls for EV, and in the month of July, we generated 28 qualified sales calls. Can you go through this results we achieved? What was your experience?
Phenomenal. In a word, it was phenomenal. The results were fantastic. The quality of the leads that came through were fantastic. The problems that these people were experiencing and the receptivity they had to listen and find a way to work with us, it was really phenomenal. It was so good that we've had to hire more people to take on this demand. It was so good that we're finding now different angles to even expand that, go even bigger and faster. And especially, and I'll just kind of mention that this was at a very quiet time in the US. The July months that we were expecting a lot of slow time, a lot of out of office. And it wasn't just the outreach. I think the thing that Sync has helped us a lot with as an expert is the quality of the messaging the structure of the offer and the value prop, kind of using frameworks like the Hormuzi offers, kind of guiding us of like, here's what you need to do to remove fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That was baked in. And because of that whole process, ICP identification, messaging, value prop, I mean, the results spoke themselves. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. For me, it was like, okay, for me, EV is $1 billion company, to be honest. It's a really big project. And I was always like, when we started working together, I was like, this is a dream client, right? And I was inspiring as well about your background and stuff. But then I was like, okay, this is a really good product. Let's build a really good offer, right? And let's do really massive outreach, right? So that was the result of like literally everything that's we combined, and consistency as well.
Yeah, I think Sync helped us understand that their process works really well with companies that know themselves really well and know their products really well and know their customers. So we had a certain level of product market fit. I think it'd be really tough to come to this agent, to come to Sync if you haven't proven out as a company yourself how things are working for you.
Exactly.
So once you've got some product market fit and good signals, Sync is the agency to call, right? Because they'll expand that and go further up.
How did our lead generation work impact your sales pipeline? Did you see more qualified prospects entering the funnel? What was the, let's say, we will not mention the prospect that we generated, right? But we have seen some like couple multi-millions and billions companies going through the funnel, which was of course really nice to see. So what was your experience on that?
Yeah, pipeline impact is massive. It helped us actually raise funding. I'll give you some of the highlights that we found very valuable. So the first thing we wanted is increase velocity. So I mentioned we were going from 12 to 18-month close cycles. We were getting to 45-day close cycles. That was phenomenal. The close rates were about 20 to 30% within that 45 days, and that's just from the initial touch. So we have campaigns going for like nurturing, and that, I think that'll continue to grow. In terms of pipeline, all the leads that came to us, we had several $1 million per year of ad spend available to us from those customers. So they were well qualified by the ICP identification and tools that Sync used. Yeah, so velocity increased, closing efficiency increased, and then the addressable market for us to go after and get not just the first deal, but the follow-on deals is massive, and it helped and it helped us raise additional financing.
So I'd say last question for this first part. What's the difference between the prospect we generated versus the leads you would getting from other sources? Let's say if you compare other sources to like LinkedIn outreach and cold email.
Yeah, so the way that we found product market fit was going through referral channels. So within our network, doing some sales prospecting that had, up and down kind of capabilities. So individual sales people going out and reaching out through their networks. But that caps out after a certain point. So what that taught us was, hey, this is the right value prop. This is the right product. We needed scale. The previous efforts we were doing, when we were doing cold email outreach ourselves, it was very difficult. We didn't have the scale and the systems in place. We did paid ads, and it was an expensive way to like learn, and it also needed resources behind it. So what Sync was able to do is not only get us volume, but quality, and then time saving. Like being able to continue this process and build it from start to finish and get us qualified meetings at our door, we had not had before. And so now our salespeople can focus on the best thing they do, which is selling and solving a problem for a customer. I think the other thing that Sync did really well and helped us in terms of like frameworks, mindset, we had to really identify pain points that spoke to the buyers. So we tested a few different pains and angles with messaging, and we were able to see what worked with people. And removing the friction to get started was the biggest pain, and it showed. Once we saw that was the winning angle, it's had a lot of success.
When I sent you DM on Slack, said like, hey, I will take care of like EV for the next month, and then this is like the whole strategy, and then reply to me like I have faith that you will make it work. I remember that day it impacted me so much that I couldn't sleep that night because faith for me is like a word that, you know, it's helped me like just move forward and just, you know, trusting myself and trusting the universe and God. And when you said that to me, because this word is just, you know, really strong word for me. And then I was like, okay, now I have to make this work for those guys. And from that was like a mission for me, right? So I wanted to mention that.
That's really kind. Look, we have a kindred spirit. We're both founders, CEOs. I've done it a few times, and I've figured out the three times I've done it, the exits I've had have been um, a lot of just mental, right? And getting in the right mindset. I see that a lot with you. You have a growth mindset. You have a solution-oriented mindset, outcome focused. That's rare, I like to find in a lot of people. I was really impressed, like I mentioned, when things got really bad, when the infrastructure wasn't working. You know, some abandon this kind of project, others dive in and solve, and that's what I was like, I'm doubling down on this person. This is fantastic. And then destiny is a big thing for me, right? It's like if this is what you want, you start to manifest it, and it starts to become true. I saw that with you. You have that same mentality. So I mean, in terms of satisfaction, if you want to, if this is an indication, you know, referrals from Ivy to you to Sync
Yes,
Agency. There have been several that we've sent over to you. That's a sign of client
exactly.
satisfaction. I mean, that's the biggest way we can tell you, you know, we believe in your process.